Hello. So let's get a few things straight before we begin. You're probably asking, why do you call your show Alternative Facts? Well, it's like this. If we have someone in the highest office in the land who likes to conveniently call the truth a lie, so if we know the truth is the truth and we know it's not a lie, but the person in charge says the truth is in fact a lie and he calls the truth alternative facts, then that's what we call this show. We report and talk about actual fact. Like imagine if Malcolm X and Angela Davis had a baby, or maybe if Tupac and Erykah Badu got married, had twins, they grew up, and they started their own news station. You see, we as a people can be concerned about more than one thing at once. We can talk about the destruction of our rights right before our very eyes, or what Agent Orange is doing in office, and about that crazy ghetto shit we see on Love and Hip Hop. It's like if CNN, Fox News, Bloomberg, Headline News, MSNBC, or PBS actually cared about what was going on in our neighborhoods. That's what this show actually is. We're for the woke, the concerned, and the underappreciated. This is Alternative Facts, and I'm your host, Eric Gordon. Thank you, fake studio audience. I appreciate that. Let's dive right in. Donald Trump and his team, that's not them. Let's switch it around. Thank you. Donald Trump and Jeff Sessions are investigating affirmative action. You heard me correctly. They are investigating affirmative action. They are looking into possibly suing higher educational institutions over alleged race-based discriminations. What's even more ridiculous is that it will be run out of the Civil Rights Division's front office. Not only is this horrible and gangster, it's blasphemous as well. At this point, if you haven't figured out these guys, hold on. Jeff Sessions looks a lot like Cotton Hill from King of the Hill. I mean, seriously, it's uncanny. Jeff and Donnie are hell-bent on trying to revamp or get rid of affirmative action. Trump is a guy who constantly brags about his college experience and how smart he is. Trump's grades were so bad at Fordham that he couldn't even get into Wharton on his own. In an interview on NBC's Meet the Press, Trump described Wharton as probably the hardest school to get into. He also said that if he were a liberal Democrat, people would call him, and I quote, the super genius of all time. Again, Trump knows he didn't get into Wharton on his own. As a matter of fact, this woman, Glenda Blair, who wrote an autobiography on Trump, reported that the reason he even got into Wharton was a special favor from a friendly admissions officer who was a high school classmate of Trump. Isn't this why we have affirmative action in the first place? To avoid dudes like Donald Trump from getting a spot from an actual qualified person? But wait, if anybody should be pissed that Trump and Sessions are trying to revamp affirmative action, it should be white women. Yeah, they're the ones who benefited the most from affirmative action. And no, I'm not talking about the disproportionate number of black celebrities married to white women. Look, these numbers about white women benefiting from affirmative action more from anybody else are real. You don't believe me? I won't spew any numbers to you. Here are Alternative Facts. We don't want to spoon feed you. So you can go to the link below and research on your own. With that being said, let's get current. So, let's get started with one sentence. 2017 is a bad year for male R&B artists. I mean, like really bad. Like at this point, if OJ got out on parole and ended up making an R&B album called Glove Love and his first single was Stab the Night Away featuring Coolio, I mean, that's kind of how bad it is. Usher may or may not be spreading diseases, while one of his latest accusers is nearly possible to believe. And no, it's not because of her looks. There are beautiful big women everywhere. I just find it odd that the morning you decide to go in front of the world to accuse Usher of not giving you herpes, you just decide to look like you threw on a shirt to run to Walmart. I mean, you have one of the most powerful lawyers in the country. Surely she can give you some sort of counsel on what you should wear, right? I mean, let's also note that a week before you do all of this, you tweet this. I mean, come on. Now, we aren't saying Usher has or doesn't have herpes, but if you're going to sue, make sure you are telling the world and the people of Twitter you need money. R. Kelly. I mean, let me count the ways you continuously creep me out. One of the most talented artists of our generation, you find more ways to be creepy than an old guy standing in a corner in a hot yoga class, breathing heavily. By now, we have all heard of the sex house allegations with young women. Yes, they are all legal. Yes, the cops came by and did a welfare check. But bruh, did you not learn from your past? Did you think that interviews like this would help clean up your image?
Do you like teenage girls?
When you say teenage, how old are we talking?
I just can't talk about him anymore. I mean, I really can't. This is ridiculous. I mean, you know, by the way, let's give a shout out to Chris Brown, who has seemingly been living the right life this year. I mean, kudos to you, sir. Please keep up the good work. And what would 2017 in male R&B singers be without mentioning Bobby Valentino? Or whatever he likes to call himself these days. We at Alternative Facts are not here to shame you. We're actually here to do quite the opposite. We're here to embrace you. That came out wrong. Look, there's a video of Bobby V going around caught up in an interesting situation. Here it is.
Back up. Get out my house. Get out my house. Get out my house. Bobby V, y'all. Bobby Valentino, running.
Okay, so I have a few questions. Number one, how did you get your pants on so fast? Like, seriously, that's a technique I've never seen before. Also, why did the person keep filming saying your full name? We counted like 10 times. We get it. They are trying to frame Bobby Valentino. Now, there were rumors that Bobby Valentino didn't pay for services, but Bobby Valentino says Bobby Valentino was tricked and that Bobby Valentino thought that the person in front of him was, in fact, a natural-born woman. Now, Bobby Valentino, if you were really deceived, we understand. However, there are a few things that should have tipped you off, like a penis. How many times did we say Bobby Valentino? Okay. Now for a special segment I like to call What the Hell News. Online boutique Zazzle came under fire for advertising Black Girl Magic t-shirts using white models. You see that? I mean, I can't make this up. And you know Twitter reacted. Now, in the model's defense, they could be extremely light-skinned, or Zazzle probably said, since everyone else is appropriating black culture and making a profit off of it, black folks, why not us? Quite a few people right there, right? I mean, are we really shocked? Really? I mean, what's next? White women modeling apple bottom jeans? Or how about an ad that says embrace your curves? Oh yeah, that actually happened as well. Moving on. ICU is a segment where we feature people of color doing great things in the community. This ICU segment goes to the 100 Black Men of Atlanta. Every year, the 100 Black Men of Atlanta show up bright and early on the first day of school and give support to the young men at Best Academy with high fives and encouragement. You see, this is what we need more of. If you know someone or some bodies that are doing great things in our community, send the info here to us at Alternative Facts. Now, the final word. We're going to circle back around and focus on the Pied Piper of R&B, Kells, or how most of us know him, R. Kelly. Recently, a lot has been made of R. Kelly's latest accusations, depending on what side you see it from. I personally remember when people were talking about R. Kelly marrying Aaliyah. We didn't have social media back then, and quite frankly, urban news wasn't deemed important enough. I also remember when I was in college when the infamous sex tape came out. I can't speak to the Aaliyah situation. However, I can speak on the sex tape that featured R. Kelly. Anybody's cross-eyed uncle could tell you that it was R. Kelly and someone who looked really, really young. If it was an underage girl in that video and R. Kelly somehow escaped justice, it's a shame. Do I think it was him? Yeah, I do. Do I think it was an underage girl? Yeah. And if the system worked, he should be under a jail right now, but he isn't, and the system didn't work. Instead, he let out a string of undeniable hits, and most people conveniently forgot that Mr. Step in the Name of Love was possibly engaged in pedophile behavior. Now, with all due respect to the system, R. Kelly's accused victim said it wasn't her in the video, and he was acquitted in 2008. Now, most of y'all know, like I know, R. Kelly likes him young. I mean, any man who does an interview in a Zorro mask must give you cause to pause. Or if somehow R. Kelly confessed that he just wants the minimum age of consent, like in this video. But let's remember, after all the rumors, when the tape leaked, a lot of you were still dancing to the Ignition remix, jamming to Step in the Name of Love, and got trapped in the closet for all 75 chapters without second thought. Now, some of you stayed vigilant and boycotted R. Kelly throughout the years, but those that didn't possibly feel guilty and due to the recent accusations finally had enough. Now, some of this is on the parents of these young adult women as well. I mean, seriously, what were you thinking? Let me take my young adult daughter to meet R. Kelly so that he can help her become a star. R. Kelly? I mean, that's like saying I'm sending my young, impressionable adult child to meet Jeffrey Dahmer so they can learn how to cook. Look, pedophilia in our community is real, very real, and seldom talked about. For years, we've ignored the weird family member that we all know is wrong, but for some reason, we are slow to report them, or worse, we don't report them at all. That needs to stop now. I've seen memes floating around the internet comparing the latest R. Kelly situation to Hugh Hefner. We need to stop that. We all know what R. Kelly has done. More than likely, that will follow R. Kelly around for the rest of his life. And I'm sure most of you, like me, pushed aside or even forgot the real personal problems of R. Kelly that were glaringly obvious in favor of those undeniable hits that were blaring over your local clubs and radio stations. We are all guilty more or less of turning a blind eye to the problems R. Kelly has had. The Boondocks' Huey Freeman says it best.
What the hell is wrong with you people? Every famous nigga that gets arrested is not Nelson Mandela. Yes, the government conspires to put a lot of innocent black men in jail on fallacious charges. But R. Kelly is not one of those men. We all know the nigga can sing. But what happened to standards? What happened to bare minimums? You a fan of R. Kelly? You want to help R. Kelly? Then get some counseling for R. Kelly. Introduce him to some older women. Hide his camcorder. But don't pretend like the man is a hero. And stop the damn dancing. Act like you got some goddamn sense, people. Damn. Don't playing around here.
This is Alternative Facts. I'm Eric Gordon. Until next time, signing off. Love you, Mom and Dad.